With winter fast approaching on this December afternoon, AFC East rivals get set to renew acquaintances at MetLife Stadium. It's the Dolphins and the Jets, and it comes your way next. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. These division games so important this time of year. Strap in, Dolphins and Jets underway in the NFL rivalry series. And he's going to be stopped cold. Good coverage there by the kick team to bring that return to an abrupt halt.
At their own 26-yard line.
On the set. Go.
Now a play fake here on first down. And this intercepted on the first play of the game. Picked up by Brandon Stevens. And they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line.
The Jets take over first and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Come on. Hit. Cowboy 80.
And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be second down. The Dolphins and the Jets meeting here for the second time this year. One of the many rivalries that the NFL is highlighting this season. And, boy, you think of some of the great players and coaches that have been part of this series through the years. Names like Joe Namath, Bob Griese, and the undefeated 72 team, Don Shula, iconic head coach, of course, Dan Marino, and then the New York Sack Exchange of the 80s, Curtis Martin, legends one and all. They'll set up the screen for Hall. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. This defense for the Dolphins, they were very good last week in the win over New Orleans.
I have to admit, I was extremely impressed by what I saw on tape because they stayed in the face of the quarterback the entire game, ended up getting 4 sacks total, and made it difficult for him to step up and find receivers downfield. Also made it hard for him to escape the pocket and run.
Losing 4 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. And now Nick Folk, his career long, 56 yards. So this will be spotted on the midfield logo. It's a 58-yard attempt. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal there.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon, partner, because he hasn't missed all year long. Converts on that one as well. And kudos to you. You didn't jinx him.
And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24.
The Dolphins take over first and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
First down Miami as they get set to start the drive. And they'll be looking to make amends for that first drive, which came to a rather abrupt ending.
Certainly did, and I remember going back to my notes before this game, and a lot of times when I scout a guy, I have a little section about how does he handle adversity. And in this case, a big check mark. He may have thrown the first interception, but I don't think he's going to throw very many more.
It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain.
That's a real nice job right there, working the middle of the field, working against those safeties. And you know, partner, if you get your hips turned the wrong way, big plays can result.
And a big play resulted right there. They'll run. Here's Devon Achane. And he stopped immediately there. Jermaine Johnson there to bring him down.
No gain on
These
the
two
play.
teams met down in Miami earlier this year with the Dolphins winning that one. So they are looking for the sweep here at MetLife. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. The Dolphin passing game rolling here. They've got another first down.
But I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people. But you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. On play action, they'll throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. Then he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Darren Waller with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Dolphins have answered that early field goal to take a first-quarter lead. So they get their tight end away from the line to the outside, and he works his way in for 6.
Tight ends are not just blockers anymore. I don't know how many more times we need examples, but here's a great one. Gets to the outside, they give him the ball pretty quickly, and they trust him to get those extra yards, and boy, did he come through, bowling his way into the end zone after the nice catch.
And they'll let that one go as it skips through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
35-yard line.
The New York offense taking over for their next possession. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative.
And now this is intercepted. My goodness. And the Dolphins are going to have it here as they'll start at their own 7.
At their own 7-yard line.
The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. They got the ball now following a big play, keeping the other guys out of the end zone. Now they'll start deep in their own territory, 1st and 10. And the drive starts with a run from H.N. And he'll find some room to get this up to about a 14. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
6-yard pickup.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Second down and 4.
18, run with. Jeanette. Ramp up pouring, 70. 65 cash, 65 cash. Go.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Throw caught by H.N. And he'll be out of bounds near the 30. In fact, right on the 30.
It's a gain of 16.
It'll be a pickup of 16 and a Dolphin first down.
So many times in my career I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Now H.N. on 1st and 10. And he'll be tackled just past the 35 to 36. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
If you're in the offensive huddle, you're smiling after that play because you've certainly got them guessing now. 2nd and short. Could they just hand it off for another big gain? Or did they take advantage of this spot to take a big shot downfield?
Blitz forthcoming as he'll look to throw. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 35. That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
Dolphins
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his legs.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
And he's out of bounds, almost gets to the 10. The catch and run going to wind up netting him 33 yards. Now first and 10 at the 11.
First down, Dolphins.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal. Help, unlock line.
Back to the ground, Ochan. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there.
He was taken down at the 10-yard
After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. It's Dolphins football here as we begin the second quarter. As they're looking at a second down and 9 to go.
Here we go, here we go. Viking 18. Cup 19, Cup 19, 18, pioneer. Ready, ready?
He'll look to throw. And that is caught. Touchdown, Miami. Wan'Dale Robinson from 10 yards out. And the Dolphins go nearly the length of the field and finish it off with 6 points. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And that pushes the lead up to 11.
Jets 3. Jason Sanders.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And that one not returnable, not by a long stretch, over the back line of the end zone, so that's going to be spotted up at the 35-yard line. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back, but make sure you're selective in doing so.
They find some open field here. Yeah, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
It's a gain of 31 yards.
31 yards there and a first down.
First down. First and 10 at the 37-yard line.
There's a short one. It's caught by Taylor. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. 10 more there and another first down. The Jets at 7-5 now in the year. And they come in feeling pretty good after back-to-back victories, CD.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another first and 10. Here's Fields. Now he's going to step up and run. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. That one a broken play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20.
I think the last two plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy, because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those two that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. Now it's Fields. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
That was a touchdown if he could have hung on. Instead, it was a well-timed collision to jar that one free.
They'll try again here from the 7 on second and goal.
Here we go. Green 19, west side zip. All right.
Fields. This pass out wide to Hall. And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5. A big play forthcoming. Here's third and goal.
It's now third and goal.
Out of the gun, Fields. And it's intercepted at the goal line. The defense looked geared up to stop the run, but obviously, Charles, they were ready for the pass, too.
Yeah, they were hoping they could catch everyone crashing and playing the run, but that was a very ill-advised throw right there. The opportunity lost.
First down, Miami, as they get set to start the drive. But the good news for them, they got the football. The bad news, they have to go 99 yards here as they start this drive out on their own 1-yard line. Will McDonald there on the tackle.
If you're a coach, you'll absolutely take that run every time on first down because it really sets you up to go in a number of directions here on second.
Now 2nd and 5.
19 Lions. Get up. Panther 11. Dragon 60. Warriors 70.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. That's caught by Chosen. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1. 3rd down and 1.
Come on. 19 Tiger. 60 Maverick. Ready.
Back to throw. That is caught. He needed a yard. That's exactly what he got. Earns him a new set of downs. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
A gain of 5. And that will bring up 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 5 at the 15-yard line.
Well, they don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway.
18 Cardinal. Cowboy 80. Watch the blue.
Achane gets it from the gun. And he will get enough for a first down, and that will lead us to the 2-minute warning. And obviously they want that run yardage, so they decline the penalty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Smart on their part. They finished off the play. But if you're going to jump, if you're going to commit a penalty, it's your job to finish off the play so you don't give up big gains like that.
Ready. Cougar 19.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. A bit of a jump there, CD. He breaks the line, and that'll be 5 yards.
And you've got to stay more disciplined than that, Brandon. That's just a free gift to the offense.
So a 1st and 5 now after the 5-yard penalty from the neutral zone infraction.
Viking 18. Steady.
Back to throw again. They'll let this go deep for Waddle. That's caught at the 25. And down to the 16-yard line. It's a big play there for Miami. 56 yards.
I'll tell you what, this is not going to be a fun discussion at halftime for this defense. They've been absolutely taken advantage of in the first half. And here's another play for big yardage.
19 tight. Rig alert. Rig street.
They just do get the play off as he'll look to throw. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Darren Waller with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. As his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And the lead is up to 18 now.
Jets 3. Jason Sanders to kick off.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And that is over the back line of the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll bring this out to the 30. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive. And they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
Back to throw, Fields. Now he'll tuck this and run. Now he'll let it go on the run. Deep left side. And he'll take it across midfield to the 46-yard line.
Eagles! Cup 19! Cup 19!
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll leave him with a second and just a few inches left.
37-yard line.
Ready? 19, Tiger, 19, Mustang 19, Warrior 70. Ready?
Now back to throw. He'll take a shot for the end zone. And that will go right up incomplete. Nearly an interception in the end zone. Probably should have been. Third down coming up.
Early on, the running game's been working well, and the offensive line has been pleased by that. The thought process there, catch those safeties creeping up, trying to help against the running game. They tried to hit them over the top, unsuccessfully.
On third and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And down to the 20 he'll go before heading out of bounds. 50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a first down. A bit of a catch for him to remember. That's number 400 for his NFL career. Not a bad number at all.
Dragon 60, 19 Lions.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. Devon Achane as the first half is winding down. And the Dolphins continue to pull away here in this first half. Sanders now to add the extra point. And they open the lead up now to 25 points.
Makes the score Dolphins 28, Jets 3. Jason Sanders to kick off for Miami.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And that is over the back line of the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll bring this out to the 35-yard line. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they will play this.
I think they'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot. While you admire anyone trying to pick up an additional couple of yards, they're just not worth it when you take shots like that. Quarterbacks have to stay in the game and stay on the field.
Here now, 2nd and 4. Fields now to throw. Incomplete. And we're down to 8 seconds now.
Well, congratulations to them. They come through defensively with another stop. And let's face it, this secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the first half.
Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. To throw is Fields. He's going to let it go deep for Mitchell. That's caught inside the 20. And he's in for the touchdown on the final play of the first half. The prayer is answered.
How did they get that done?
Well, certainly they haven't had the ideal first half, but there's some momentum for them to take into halftime.
Yeah, and it might not be that wild momentum, that you see sometimes where they score late and teams go sprinting off and the whole deal. No, it might not be that, but it does give them a better feeling about themselves and what they can accomplish in the second half.
And that'll do it for the end of the second quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports.
Jason Sanders to kick off for Miami.
The Jets going to get the football first, and they trail as well as we get back underway in this second half. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. And you have to think, Charles, down 3 scores already. They need to play an almost perfect second half to have a solid chance.
And that absolutely starts with finding some way to put together a touchdown drive here. They need to be smart, fast, efficient, get the ball to the end zone, and do it again multiple times in order to have a chance to win this game.
Play action, Fields. On the RPO, he'll keep it himself. And he just gets rid of it, throws it away. The lines move there, looked like nobody open, now 2nd down.
I'm sure it was a tough halftime trying to figure out some strategy to get things going, trailing by a lot when they went into the locker room. He's just trying every avenue to spark his team here to begin the 3rd quarter. Not a lot going on that play, though.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Angel. Here we go. Blue 58, blue 58.
Here's Fields. It's incomplete. Took a shot. Couldn't get it.
They certainly aren't loading up today, partner, because they've forced big turnovers already. And it's been incredibly tough for them to get yards against, let alone put points up on the board.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Now Fields. And incomplete on a deep ball.
And there's another stop. One of the league's best defenses is certainly bringing it again this week.
And he was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. This is taken at the 10. And he'll take a shot at the end of that one, and they'll begin right there. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. Well, this offense, this team, they are rolling right now, Charles. They've scored on 3 straight possessions. You look at the scoreboard, and they've pretty much right now got this thing on cruise control.
Yeah, and this is that time of game where you and I have to be prepared, right? Isn't this kind of like that empty the bucket time where you have to go into your blowout material and make sure you have some different things? That's what we're staring at right now, the way this one is going.
14 yards.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
First down.
Past the 60, past the 60.
10 at the 34-yard line.
Go.
He'll look to throw. That's complete to his tight end, Waller. And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped. That'll wind up a gain of 27 on the catch and run.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the third quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
Not liking the look. They'll change the play.
18 rattler, 18 rattler.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Oh, looking for Waller, but this is intercepted. And the Jets are going to take over here up near the 40.
The Jets take over first and 10 at their own 39-yard line.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
And he'll be brought down with a penalty flag on the field. It was a late decision to throw, and it might have been too late. So the illegal forward pass also costs him a down, and now it's 2nd and long.
Here we go.
They'll give to Hall. Give him 4 on the carry there, but that only takes him back to where they started. 3rd and 10. Right where this set of downs started, they need a full 10 here to pick up the first down and move the chains. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss. Here's the Jets punter now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. But he'll get this away into the icy winter air. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. It's a 40-yard punt, 6 yards on the return, and it'll be Dolphin football. First down Miami as they get set to start the drive. Not an ideal way to end their previous drive. They threw the interception, Charles, after they had built up some momentum. They were moving the football, but something to at least build on for this offense as they run back out here.
Well, you're right about that. Up until
and he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Darren Waller, his 3rd touchdown of the game, number 9 on the season. And the Dolphins are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Charles, that's a pretty good response from a rookie quarterback. He's had his struggles in this game, including the interception on the last drive, but there he takes him down the field and puts it in the end zone.
I agree with everything you just said right there. And there's a silver lining to all this, his resiliency. Because let's face it, when things are going bad and you're a youngster, they often continue to go bad. But in his mind and his actions, he said, this stops right here. And how about the positive play he just turned in?
Jason Sanders to kick off for Miami.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And that one not returnable. It's over the back line of the end zone, so that's going to be spotted up at the 30-yard line. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
In every game that's ever been played, all coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball, and it certainly did, especially on the scoreboard.
Ball at the 40 here for 2nd and 5.
Here we go, son. Is that all right?
They'll toss it out right here to Hall. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 58 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
Here we go. I'm good. All right.
On 1st and 10, it's Hall. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Tackled by Ashton Davis up from the secondary.
And that run was memorable for only one reason. There was absolutely no place to run with the football. No gaps, no creases, no gain.
Now a 2nd and 10.
Here we go. All right.
Here's Hall again. And he's out of bounds as he gets this down to the 45. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
Here is 3rd down and 4.
Here we go, son. 331, 331.
Fields going to change things up here.
Go.
Oh, and that one well designed as he'll take this down to the 30-yard line. Really good effort. He does it himself, picks up 15, also picks up the 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Now Fields going to run. And off-balance throw there, and it's going to wind up incomplete.
Well, defensively, they haven't let him just sit in the pocket and get comfortable, and that's opposite a lot of game plans in today's NFL. Ordinarily, you're trying to keep the quarterback hemmed in. In this case, they brought the heat, and if he flushes out, they're fine with that, and they force another incompletion.
2nd and 10.
Don't jump. Ready? EQ. 319. That's right. Delta, Delta. Tonight.
Out of the gun, they run it at Hall. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11. After seeing that, maybe time to go back to some downfield throws here.
Yeah, anything, change it up, because the teams that win, the best teams, they're the ones that make adjustments. Doesn't mean you can't come back to what you thought you could get done. Sometimes when you open things up a little bit, you can get back to what you wanted to do before.
Here we go. Blue 58, blue 58, son. All right.
From the gun on 3rd down, Fields. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. And the Dolphins are going to have it here just past the 25. Before we came up to the booth, last thing he said as we were walking off the field, want to play mistake-free football. Well, that just went out the window there with a pick.
And do you remember what you said to me when we were walking up to the booth after he said that? You're like, oh, fatal last words. Every time we hear that, things tend to fall apart a little bit, and that's what we saw there. Didn't get enough on that throw, and it turned into an interception.
They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
Cougar 19.
He'll try again with the arm here on 2nd down. They'll let this go deep for Waddle. Oh, wide open, complete. All the way in for a Miami touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 74 yards. And the Dolphins are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this 3rd quarter. Sanders on for the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter.
Dolphins 42, Jets 9. Jason Sanders to kick off for Miami.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And this one definitely not in the landing zone. In fact, it's over the back line. So this is going to come out to the 35. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And really, Charles, not much of a surprise that they're losing. They just haven't been able to get much of anything going in the pass game. And as you well know, in today's NFL, if the passing game isn't working, usually not much else is working either.
Exactly right about that part, man. I know that right now the easy answer would be, hey, let's run the football. But that might not be everything you need. So despite the fact that they've struggled throwing it, they've got to find some type of a play, multiple plays, that puts the ball in the air and allows for them to have some success.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Here we go. Out. 319, good.
Operating from the gun. Fields. Going for the deep ball. That's caught inside the 20. And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown. Breece Hall, 65 yards. And the Jets get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this fourth quarter deficit. This time, the extra point up and go. And that trims the lead a bit, but still standing at 26 points. Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. Not that any of the points would be needed, but CD, they've got enough time left here. They can definitely score on this drive, maybe even an ensuing drive as well, if they really want to drive home this landslide victory.
Yeah, we're certainly about to see just how aggressive they want to be here down the stretch. And what some coaches do is they try and meet it halfway, meaning they want to continue to run their offense, but they put in a lot of backups to do it, and then tell the opposing coach, hey, I had to get them some work too. I can't just let them sit over on the sidelines all the time.
Right back to Achane on 2nd down. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And they'll take this to the other side of midfield before getting out of bounds. A gain of 19 and picking up the first.
The Dolphins first down. A gain of 19 yards. And the Dolphin first down.
Up the middle, Achane. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11 at the 50-yard line.
Again, it's Achane. And he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but that's about it. The 2nd down play, not much better than the first. Just a gain of 1 there.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
Ready?
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. That's caught inside the 20. They're on their way in for a Miami touchdown. Jalen Wright, 48 yards. And the Dolphins are closing in on win number 10 as they extend this fourth quarter lead. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 35-yard line.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. Their mini two-game win streak appears it might be going by the wayside unless they can pull a rabbit out of their hat. He completes that to Garrett Wilson, pushing his way through. And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped. That'll wind up a gain of 27 on the catch and run.
First and 10 at the 38-yard line.
So now first and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 38. And a completion to Wilson. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
Brings up second and 1 at the 29-yard line.
From the 29, here's second down at a yard.
Here we go. Green.
Here's Fields. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sent back at the 38.
A loss of 9 on the play.
The safety blitz turns out to be a great call defensively as they sack him for a loss of 9. So now third and 10. A big play to start the drive, but nothing since. A shotgun snap, Fields. And unable to connect, incomplete. I give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up fourth down.
And that's where you want to use your big tight end. Let him use his size and frame to go up and get the deep ball in the end zone. But that time, they couldn't connect.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on fourth down. They're going for it.
Monday. Here we go, side. Alpha. Right.
They snap it to Fields. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Coming up on the final 2.5 minutes. And boy, has it been fun to watch this offense operate. Quite the display, and now they look to polish it off. And good running there as he'll take this all the way up to midfield. 66 yards rushing on 12 carries for him now. Another example of this offense really having their way, Charles, and another big chunk play there on the ground.
And then when you look at the defense, they've got to do a much better job of wrapping up when they tackle. A lot of great opportunities continue to slip through their fingers, as do the runners.
And he stopped immediately there. So after the loss of a yard, they'll look to push forward here on second down and 11.
Come on, set. 19 Charger, 19 Charger.
H-Chan here, they stay on the ground. And he'll take this midfield down into Jet territory. Give him 3 yards on the run there. That still leaves him with a difficult 3rd and 8 coming up.
3rd and 8.
On play action, no throw. He's got his target. That's complete. And that's going to be another first down as the tackle made at the Jets' 38-yard line. And they get 10 yards there and convert on 3rd.
It's a gain of 10. First down, Miami.
A run straight ahead with Achane. And a solid run down inside the 30.
Now, that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space, you've got to hit the jackpot there.
4 yards the pickup, first down. Hate to be blunt, but it is just continuing to prove to be the case that this O-line is manhandling this D-line right now.
They deserve to roll up their sleeves and show up their biceps because they're doing exactly what you just described. Manhandling the defensive front. They've got the leverage. They're powering through, and they're controlling this game.
Give them 12 yards there, and the Dolphins have a first down.
First and 10 at the 13-yard line.
So a victory here for the Miami Dolphins, and maybe more importantly, a victory in the division, which always helps.
And on the road, how about all of that rolled up into one? Because how often do you see division games get decided by this much of a margin?
Yeah, they thumped them.
Yeah, they jumped all over them. And a division game is usually a touchdown or less because these two teams know each other better than most teams in the league. In this case, that didn't hold up. On the road, big margin, big victory. Oh, yeah, that flight home will be good.
So for Miami, it's a 10th win on the year as they move to 10-3. And they'll get another road date next week as their opponents will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Meanwhile, for the Jets, they can ill afford to drop too many more as they fall to 7-6 on the year. And they'll be on the road next week as they get a date with the Jaguars in Jacksonville. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.